Pacific One News, the news web leader, your exposure to the world.
On Rahul Gandhi's return to Parliament, a Team India celebration. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge hits back at PM Modi over Quit India jab. Supreme Court rejects V. Senthil Balaji plea seeking release in money laundering case, grants ED 5-day custody. Demolition drive in No halted following order by Punjab and Haryana HC. Hi, this is Khushi Chauhan and you're watching Pacific One News, the news web leader, your exposure to the world. Opposition leaders from the India Alliance hailed Rahul Gandhi's reinstatement as a Lok Sabha MP, calling it a victory of truth. As soon as the announcement came in, celebrations broke out at the Congress headquarters in Delhi, with workers dancing and raising slogans in favor of Mr. Gandhi. The Lok Sabha Secretariat issued a notification announcing that his disqualification has been revoked and his membership restored. Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge celebrated the occasion with sweets. Earlier today, the opposition hit out at the government for not reinstating Rahul Gandhi's membership immediately after the Supreme Court stayed his conviction in a defamation case. The Supreme Court said that while the Congress leader's remarks were not in good taste, his disqualification from Parliament would affect his constituents. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge hit back at Prime Minister Narendra Modi over his Quit India jibe at the opposition, saying it is our victory that those who did not remember the Quit India movement for 75 years are doing so now. Mr. Kharge's attack on Modi came hours after the Prime Minister, while addressing an event to lay the foundation stone for the redevelopment of 508 railway stations, accused the opposition of playing negative politics and said now the entire country is rooting for corruption, dynasty and appeasement to quit India. Hitting back at PM Modi, Mr. Kharge said, Prime Minister Modi, for the last 10 years, you have done only negative politics of divisiveness. You are now uttering bitter words for India as well. You have not been able to control Manipur violence in the last 3 months. Your divisive politics has pitted communities against each other, leading to a civil war-like situation. More than 150 people have been killed so far, Mr. Kharge said in a tweet. The Supreme Court dismissed the pleas moved for the release of DMK Minister V. Senthil Balaji, who was arrested last June in a money laundering case being probed by the Enforcement Directorate. A bench of justices as Bopana and MM Sundresh also granted the Enforcement Directorate custody of Balaji for 5 days until August 12. The order was passed on 2 pleas moved by Balaji and his wife. A connected plea moved by the Enforcement Directorate was also heard along with the pleas for Balaji's release. The Supreme Court had reserved its verdict in the case on August 2. The Madras High Court had earlier ruled against releasing the minister, prompting Balaji and his wife, S. Mingala, to move out of the apex court. The ED had also moved the top court, contending that the High Court had erred in even entertaining a habeas corpus petition filed by Balaji's wife after his remand. The ED's plea was heard along with the pleas filed by Balaji and his wife. The demolition exercise in Haryana's No in the wake of communal clashes in the area was halted today, following an order by the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Deputy Commissioner Dhirendra Khadgata asked officials concerned to stop the bulldozer action following the High Court ruling. The ruling came on a petition by 3 lawyers against the bulldozer action. The demolition drive had come under criticism, with politicians alleging that it targeted Muslims. Also, many of those whose homes were razed had claimed that they were served no prior notice. 8 months after being taken up for renovation, the capital's oldest church, St. James at Kashmiri Gate in North Delhi, has been restored and rededicated. The function was presided over by LGVK Saxena. The church, built in record time in 1836, the early 19th century at Kashmiri Gate, displays classic colonial architecture. The over 180-year-old church, which was in a dilapidated condition with cracks and a weak foundation, has been restored to its old glory. It now bears a distinctive color of pink instead of yellow, which was its original color. Restoration and renovation work to the church, also known as Skinner's Church after Colonel James Skinner, who built it, began in November 2022 by the DDA with support from Intac. Now it's time for a short break. We'll be back soon.
Pacific One News, the news web leader, your exposure to the world.
The political situation was all right.
हर कीमत पर भारत की एकता अखंडता की रक्षा की जाएगी.
Who? What? When? Why? Your curiosity is our priority. Who trumped the political tussle? Who showed their power muscle?
अच्छा नहीं लगा, मैंने उसको रद्द कर दिया.
Scaling new peaks in science and tech.
Stay separated.
Are they keeping the global warming in check? From foreign policies to international disputes, we keep an eye on India's rise to superpower. We bring you news as is. No opinions, no agenda, no masala. Keep calm and access top stories right in your palm. We bring you news that you can use.
हालात को देखते हुए देश में ये लॉकडाउन 21 दिन का होगा.
Cruising through the alleys, towns and metros. Every moment of importance. From geopolitical moves to hyper-local news. We bring you what's happening in India. New outlook, new thoughts, news with the views. Pacific One News, the news web leader, your exposure to the world.
So we are back after a break. Now moving ahead. 2 children died after a wall of their house collapsed after heavy rain in Uttarakhand's Tehri Garhwal district. The State Disaster Response Force team informed the wall behind the house of one Praveen Das in Maroda village under Dhanolti Tehsil collapsed after it was hit by debris, following the recent heavy rain in the region. Tehri District Disaster Management Officer informed that a house has been damaged due to debris coming from Maroda Beach. Saklana Patti, 3 children were playing near the house when the boundary ball of the house fell on them. 7-year-old Zoya and Abdul died, while Monu, aged 4 years, was seriously injured, in which a boy and girl were buried. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval said the Jeddah Peace Summit was not only to take forward Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dialogue and diplomacy formula to end the 17-month-long Ukraine war, but also to ensure that Indo-US agreements be signed during the June 23 visit. Washington is on the implementation path. The Ukraine talks, hosted by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, were attended by 40 senior officials, including 33 NSAs from the US, France, Britain and the European Union, and Li Hui, China's special envoy for Eurasian affairs, among other countries. Even though no consensus was reached on the principles for ending the Ukraine war, senior officials moved forward by understanding each other's key positions, agreeing that the war was an economic threat to the global south. It was a disaster. Fire above emergency ward at AIIMS in Delhi. Patients evacuated. A fire broke out in the endoscopy room located near the emergency ward of the AIIMS Delhi. 8 fire engines were rushed to the spot and the fire was brought under control. All surrounding patients and staff were safely evacuated after the fire was reported from the emergency ward. The director has also reached the spot to take stock of the situation. One of the most significant movies in Sunny Deol's career, Gadar, Ek Prem Katha, continues to hold a special place in the hearts of Indian audiences, even 22 years after its release. Set against the backdrop of the partition era, the film follows the journey of a Sikh man and a Muslim woman who was meant to migrate to Pakistan with her family. Amidst the tense circumstances, they find solace in each other. Having been college mates, and eventually their bond deepens into love as the actor prepares for the release of the film's sequel Gadar 2. He expressed his views on cross-border love stories. advocating for people to embrace and respect others' choices in how they lead their lives. Popular YouTuber Mr. Beast has officially challenged T-Series to a sub-count face-off. "I'm doing this for PewDiePie," he wrote on the microblogging platform X, and has the second number of subscribers after T-Series. He is now fighting to become the most subscribed YouTuber in the world. T-Series has at least 247 million subscribers, while Mr. Beast has at least 173 million. Notably, YouTuber PewDiePie was once the most subscribed YouTube channel. Earlier, there was an online battle between PewDiePie and T-Series for the title of most subscribed channel on YouTube. The rivalry began in 2018 when T-Series subscriber count began to approach PewDiePie's. That's all for now. Stay tuned for more updates.
Pacific One News, the news web leader, your exposure to the world.